Hi, everyone. Today we're going to look to see how we can set up invoicing for our website. So to do that, while we are logged in, we need to go to Store and Invoicing. Here in the invoicing setup, you can see you have the general settings. There's no need to change anything in here. We can have templates. We can use the simple template. Test mode if you just want to use it for testing. And basically, we have some other settings that we usually don't use. But the first thing you have to do, if you have a logo, you can set up your logo. Just click on the set up your logo. You can, let's put this one for testing. You can set this image as your logo and it will show on the invoice on the left side. And you can define the height of the logo, let's say 1 centimeter or 3. So this is standard setup with 3, and you can see it changes on the preview page. Then you can add the shop name. Let's add something in here, like the shop name, company name. Then we can add the shop address, which is something for testing. We can just add address. Let's say Chicago. And here we can put the bank account number and everything else that you think is useful for having on your invoice. You can see that the company name and the shop address will show on the top right side of the invoice. And then we can add terms and condition policies, stuff like that on the footer, like VAT applied. Let's put it like this for testing, and it will show on the footer on the invoice. We can also add extra fields on the invoice if you want. Let's say should be invoice to be paid by. We can add a date in there if you want, just as an extra field. Okay, we can add even more extra fields, and then after we do the changes, we save the changes. And then after we done the visual part, we should go to the Documents tab. And here, the first thing we need to do is enable the invoice. So the system will create an invoice. And then we have to add the options to attach it to. And this is already set up when you get the website, but you can change things. So we wanna have the invoice created when the order is completed, when there's a customer invoice or order details sent manually to the customer, on a completed renewal order for recurring subscriptions, and on a customer renewal invoice. So basically, these are the most common options to create an invoice. We can also set it to disable it for multiple status, but we usually don't do that because we only create it for on these statuses, right? No shipping address needed. We check the box to display the email address, the phone number on the invoice, the customer notes if he adds some, the invoice date, the invoice number. And here we can set up the invoice number, the starting invoice number. So we usually set it to 1. We start with a new invoice number and we click save. And then the first invoice that will be created, it will be with number 1. We can also set up a number format for prefix. Let's say it's invoice, like a prefix, invoice number 1. And it will show in here on the top right side, invoice 1 through 3, 4. This is just an example, so it's number 4. or we can set like whatever we want on the prefix or even on the suffix. So that's optional, right? We have the option to reset the invoice yearly, which we usually don't do, and log the invoice generation, and some other options that we usually don't need to use. We can disable it, and I suggest you do that. Disable the invoice creation for free orders. So if you want to test something or just give something for free, there's no need for an invoice to be created. And after everything is set, we just click Save Changes, and the invoice will be, the setup is complete. One more thing to add, that if you want to make changes to the current invoices that are already created, you have to check this box, and everything will be adjusted as the current settings. So let's save this. So this is how we set invoicing on our website.